Hey everybody, and welcome back. Today I'm going to tell you about the exhaust system that I'm building for the Project Matrix, and I'm going to explain why I would not recommend you do this yourself. So let's jump on in. This isn't going to be my usual how-to video. It's just going to be showing you what I did and how much work it was, why I wouldn't do it again. So I got this car incredibly loud, no exhaust system. They gave me the muffler and it has the flex pipe coming off the header. No tubing, really loud. So I kept the muffler and I got a box of tube, real cheap, just a big box used of 2.5-inch pipe. I also got a few of these bigger pieces that I didn't end up using. That's what used to be connected onto the muffler there, which I just replaced because it's pretty crusty and old. I thought to myself, oh, you know, I get the bends already pre-bent. I can just slip them together, weld them real quick. It'll be a day and a half max. And this is about 4 days into it. An incredible amount of time to cut, measure, and cut all of these cuts. The welding is quick. I'm just using a basic Harbor Freight multi-process machine. I've been doing pretty much all of it using flux core Lincoln wire. It's been going down really nice. I did a few tests here. I did TIG, stick, low power, low amp stick, and flux core. I still don't have a tank for MIG. You can see you can do it either way. TIG is going to take forever, and stick you're going to have slag inclusions to deal with. So there's a reason why guys in exhaust shops use MIG, and I just don't have a gas tank with 7525 yet. So that's why I'm using flux core. Let's get back to the exhaust system. I have the original muffler here. And I did shine up the tip a little bit, but other than that, you know, stainless steel, but it's corroded. It's, you know, 20 years old or whatever. I cut this out here and I welded in this new section, and that way I can upgrade this muffler in the future real quick. Just cut this off and put the new one on rather than keeping that little pipe over there. Got this piece made. Then I'm using a 3-bolt solid flange. There are the flex type of joints up there on the header, coming off the header for the flex pipe, but with the springs, I'm just using a solid bolt together type. And then you can see we come along here. I welded in a little bung for an O2 sensor, and then it comes up to here. Then this is one of those flanges. Real simple. And you just take your pipe and you weld it in. This is the reducer that's going to let me connect this piece. The stock pipe on here, I believe, is 1 3/4, and this is 2.5. So this piece is going to come off the header. Just not quite done yet. Then I'm going to have it all done once I get this piece made. And so I'm using a mixture of these two paints. I'm using the plain one for the base, and then I'm adding just a little bit of this sparkle. I mean, I know it's ridiculous, right? You're probably making fun of me. Why am I painting an exhaust tube? But, you know, I'm doing this amount of work. It's an unbelievable amount of work. I want it to at least look nice. And so had to go ahead and stop and shut the door there because someone's pressure washing outside and it was getting kind of loud. But anyways, why did this take so long? Is because of all of the cuts. The welds, they take some time, but they're not taking that much time. And I honestly really like doing the welding. Welding's a lot of fun. I'd recommend you learn it. But each time you want to make a bend, you might be thinking, well, you have the pipe. It just slips together. You can see kind of how this piece can go into here like this. And the previous person just used a bunch of self-tappers when they were using this stuff. I'm not doing that. I'm welding it. But the thing is look at how big this is. If you're working on a truck, you know, yeah, sure, you can, but I mean, a car, you don't have that much space. You got to make tight, precise turns to have this stuff fit underneath there. You're not just going to take a box like I thought and slip it together and it's going to be close enough. You don't have the room. And so we're going to go outside in a little bit. I'm going to show you how I make most of these cuts. But aside from the cuts, then you got to weld it. Then you got to clean it up using a wire wheel if you're going to be painting it. And it's good to also have both a grinding disc and a cutting disc, although to grind down spots, for example, like right here, I grind down my welds so that I have room for the nut and the bolt to go without interfering, and then a few other places. But what we're dealing with is a lot of time of cutting and a lot of time of putting the exhaust tubing up under the car, measuring, getting a cut made, tacking it in place, dropping it to weld it, putting it back. If you had a floor lift, you could do all of this underneath, but I'm using a creeper, and man, I am tired of coming in and out under this car. I can tell you that much for sure. Here's the setup I use to cut all the pipe. Don't forget to wear your PPE, protect your eyes, ears, and lungs. A lot of dust coming off of here especially. I would not recommend using a wood miter saw like this, like I did with a metal cutting blade, just because of the safety of if this blade were to shatter or something like that, whether or not this plastic guard would be strong enough. But I just haven't went out and bought myself a metal chop saw yet, but I'd recommend you do that. Every cut you make, get it squared up, cut it through. You get all these burrs on the inside and on the outside. Now the outside is easy because all you do is you just spin up your bench grinder here, you grind them down, no problem. But on the inside, these are real stinkers. You could use a deburring tool. I mostly just used a file like that, but to clean them up. But every single cut you make, you got to clean up, and that takes a lot of time. That's why this is so annoying. It's not making the cuts. Cutting, quick. Cleaning up the cuts, slow. Also want to say real quick, don't think you're going to be able to use a hacksaw or a chop blade here like this and get accurate cuts, because they are going to be wavy and all over the place. And if you want to weld these up, you need them to be square and perpendicular. You're going to need a chop saw, something like this. Here's a quick tour of the system from underneath. Got the tip coming out here. Then we got one hanger up there, one hanger over here. That allows the muffler to move a little. We've got the first joint, a bend to clear this suspension member here. Then we've got another bend to clear the differential mount here. So already two tight bends. This is where the factory resonator would have went. Got to have room for the drive shaft as well. Then coming on down here, keep following the heat shielding. There's the oxygen sensor. Here is where the secondary cat would have gone in the factory system. I might add a small bottle style resonator in if it's too loud with the muffler alone. We've got the hangers here, still has the flexibility to move. Then off of the header, here's how the flex pipe works. You can see there's a lot of movement in there, and that movement is because it uses springs and a sort of ball and cup style of joint with a gasket that allows it in both this location and up there to move with the engine as the engine revs up and rotates. Here's my last piece of the puzzle that I made. There's that joint there, and then here's that flange type of joint. And so this is able to go in here, and then that is going to finish us up. Well, that's it for this video. If you can hear, or should I say not hear, hopefully you can tell it's pretty quiet now. I have it running in the background, and the exhaust definitely works. It is a little bit louder than stock because it doesn't have that secondary cat and resonator, but it sounds so much better than straight piped. If you're one of those guys out there that straight pipes your car on purpose, like you're having trouble, okay, is what I'm saying, because you're not gaining any performance unless you're putting serious money into that engine, okay? You cutting the exhaust off is just bothering everybody. I really like how this sounds. I will say that it was a ton of work, and I know I didn't show all the steps. I really, I don't know if I'd do this again. As I said, I just really wouldn't recommend doing it just because it's so much work, but the results do sound good. And the real reason I did all this, I'll let you know a little secret, is originally I was planning on using this as a parts car, but I'm almost considering now using it as a candidate for a V6 engine swap. That's why I did that 2.5 inch pipe, so I'd have more flow for if I put a big engine in. So hey, if you think that'd be cool, I might not do it. No promises here, no promises, but it's something I've been toying around with, and so leave a comment if you think that'd be something cool you'd like to see, and give me a like and subscribe and all that. Appreciate you very much. You have a good day. All right, bye.